Hello everyone, welcome back. So today's video is going to be related to something that I discussed in yesterday's video, kind of reiterating some ideas. But for anyone who watched the video yesterday, you would know that I left my school teaching contract in Leduc this past June. Spent some time, obviously in the summer, teachers don't work in school mostly unless they're teaching summer school. So I had 2 months off there. And then kind of this September, not getting a contract at the start of the year meant that, in my mind, I'm kind of playing out this idea of, well, what is going to happen next? And as you can see, I live in this apartment, which, has expenses associated with it and everything else that I kind of spend money on. So for most people, the concern is that as they progress in life, their expenses keep going up and therefore they must, continuously earn money. And so it becomes very difficult to pull back from whatever you're doing in life to kind of think about what you want to do and readjust your course. So today's video is going to be about some of the challenges in that, and particularly with my own specific redirection, where I'm really considering, a career in kind of therapy and counseling and psychology and mental health services. So for those of you who are in university and probably even before that, you might have heard this phrase, C's get degrees. And when I was in university, that was a phrase I loved because it basically gave me permission to take my foot off the gas pedal and just coast and take courses not very seriously, in the sense that I wouldn't even try to get like a B or a B minus or a B plus, which now that I think about it, honestly wasn't too hard, especially if you kind of don't take all 5 courses and take maybe 3 or 4. And you actually have time to put more effort into each class. So when I heard that phrase, I essentially, gave myself permission to not put in effort and not put in the work necessary to get decent results. I figured, well, a 2.0 is still a bachelor of education. And let's be honest, most employers aren't looking at your average. They're not really looking at your grade. A lot of times it's the connections you make in university, and honestly, a lot of the soft skills, so how to kind of interact with people, how to network, how to connect, how to get your name out there. These are the skills that are really going to help. So why am I talking about this phrase, C's get degrees? Well, they might get degrees, but they don't get you master's programs. So now my dilemma is that before I can get into a master's of counseling, there's kind of 2 issues that I'm facing. One is, I might not have the requirement for psychology credits in the past, right? And that makes sense because I didn't take a psych degree. If I did have those credits, my next dilemma would be that I just don't think I had the average to actually get access into the program. I mean, you need a 3.0, and I don't know how competitive these programs are. So I don't know if they're also saying, oh, you got a 3.0, but we have like 25 or 250 people applying with a 3.8 and above. Yeah, we're just not taking you. Too bad, so sad. You just didn't do well enough. From what I've seen, kind of the bare minimum is a 3.0 requirement, which is probably somewhere around a B minus. And so when you're going through school, going through life, going through university especially, you can apply these mindsets that are very similar. C's get degrees. But you got to think through kind of who you become in that process. Do you want to be the person who's kind of lazy and, half-asses things, to be quite straightforward? Because that's going to carry with you in life oftentimes. I don't think always. Part of the challenge is that the reason I think why I felt kind of vindicated to not put effort into school is because I just didn't really enjoy school. A lot of my courses didn't make sense to me and I didn't understand why I was taking them. But again, a lot of this is just cope. A lot of this is just justifying, my laziness, the poor decisions that I made at that time. So now it's important to not necessarily, if you're going to give your all to everything, it's important to also give your all to resting and recovering, right? Because, very few of us alive are superhuman to the point where, you can just work at maximum capacity for like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Just about every person needs time to rest, recover, and to redirect and refocus their life. And so it's kind of like these two mindsets where C's get degrees. So you're kind of lazy and half-assing everything, or you're just pedal to the metal until you crash, right? Until you lose control. And finding some degree of balance is kind of very important. And part of that would honestly be that you kind of prioritize what is valuable to you and figure out what is valuable to you. So one thing that could be valuable is making sure that you keep as many doors open as possible. And by that, in university particularly, what I mean is that you are essentially getting enough grades that if you did want to go into grad school, that you have that opportunity still. That doesn't mean that you only just do school. And for some people, that might mean that they have to only do school, right? They might just not have the capacity to, work, do extracurriculars, do sports, meet their friends, and get like a 3.5, 3.6, 3.8, 4.0 GPA. But at the end of the day, what's important is that, you're kind of striving towards certain goals. And so, some people are just doing a university degree just to satisfy their parents' needs. And maybe they already have a different plan for themselves. And so, if you know that what you want to do after university is nothing to do with your degree, nothing to do with, going into an additional program, and you're just doing it to fulfill someone else's needs. I mean, that's a topic for another video, but you want to make sure that, you're moving towards your goals. And if your goal has nothing to do with your degree or pursuing higher education, well then, who really cares if you get a 2.0 or 2.1 GPA? But if you're someone who, like myself, when I was in my education degree, I almost dropped out of it kind of early on to pursue psychology. Had I kind of planned it through properly, had I had guidance, like some of the students who might be watching this video, from someone who's older, from someone with that experience, maybe I would have done things differently, right? Had someone told me, hey, Najib, make sure that since you kind of want to do psychology, make sure you keep those doors open, right? Take as many psychology courses as you can in your undergrad that it will allow, so that you already meet some of those credit requirements. And then also make sure that you're doing well. And to be honest, even once I stuck it out with my education degree, there was a part of me that thought maybe I shouldn't do a phys ed minor, because quite frankly, I don't know if I could really enjoy teaching kids who couldn't throw a ball, right? Kind of when I grew up taking phys ed, a lot of people were physically literate, right? They knew how to do these things prior to high school. So I had already considered changing my minor. Had I known that I need all those psych credits, I could have done a psychology minor, and that could have opened up more opportunities for teaching courses that I actually want to be teaching in high school. So to wrap up this video, C's get degrees, but you got to ask yourself, what type of person are you becoming in the process? Now, if you're simply getting the C because you're just filling a requirement and it won't lead to anything in the future, even then I would implore you to do better than you are doing, because you still want to keep that door open. But if you really know what you're set on and it has nothing to do with the grade that you get in your program, then have at it, right? But the key thing is that you want to make sure you're becoming someone of good character and good quality, because those are the things that are going to lead to success no matter where you go. And that's all for me today, kids. Take care. Bye.